Hello everyone, my name is Notepad Anon and I write games for fun. So what are we doing today? Well, today we're going to be working more on the Gachimuchi Nirvana Seekers. I did a little bit of work on it last time, as you can kind of actually know. I did a little bit of work on things from last time. If we scroll down a little bit here, added 2 side notes. Pretty much this side note is saying, hey, make it surreal, make it kind of weird. Embrace the strangeness of the setting. Also simplified this part quite a bit. One of the big things is I made it so we're just using D8s, kind of plays in down here. Instead of having like the degrees of power, I said, you know, fuck it, let's just have 21 secret creation points. Build your own character from there. And the idea is mortals use d6s, heroes or seekers use d8s, and divine creatures use d10s. Just so you get the idea of like, yeah, bigger monster, scarier, and does more things. From there, let's see. Attributes remained relatively the same. However, compound attributes got a pretty big change. One of the key things that I changed around the nature of the three key ones here, which are attributes that are compound and kind of rely on two, while these ones are more derived. These ones are a lot more about, how to word it, this is your health. This is your kind of like soul health. This is your stamina. These are things that can be reduced and regained. These are like just attributes and stats that do stat stuff. Kind of a simple concept, but I wanted to get it across just because I felt like I didn't very well. I also realized that they were all in Lotto just now, so I'm going to see if we play a little trick on it. Because Lotto is actually a lot smaller than Motorsat. So I can just change things down a little bit and make things a little bit easier to read. Skills got itself just cleaned up. That's really it. Obviously, since things like Charisma got removed, I had to remove Charisma from a lot of these. However, the idea remains the same. Assets worked. I did two things with this. The sacrifice. Hi. The sacrifice is, where is it? Hello. Okay. The seeker may willingly sacrifice one of their personal assets to gain one seeker creation point or prevent the seeker from becoming a devil, resetting their karma down to 108. It's kind of the idea is that you're spending it. Hi. Yeah. Skills. Like, don't be too intimidated by skills, though. Like, that's the big thing. Don't be intimidated by these because they're very light, but I had to put in just a bunch of them for you to flesh out your character. But made this a little bit easier to understand. Cleaned it up a smidge. Let's see. Styles. I actually decided how I wanted to do styles. Styles are going to be a little bit odd. Going to be derived. Never understood skills. Well, in this one, it's just to make sure the characters don't feel similar. Being like, yeah, no, I'm a this, therefore I have all these different skills. Now, one of the big things with styles, how I decide to do them. Some games I kind of go hardcore on skills, others I don't. This one, I'm not going too hard, and kind of like the system this is based off of, Song of Swords. This is pretty damn light. Song of Swords is lighter. Like, there's barely anything there, but that entire game is built around being a HEMA autist. Not every game needs skills. That's always my philosophy. Now, the styles are pretty simple. Pretty much you have a requirement. You have how many of your style points you take at creation. If we scroll all the way up here. How many style points you get. Actually, style. I don't know how I want to call them. And we scroll down further. And certain ones cost something different. Now, the idea is the combat pool. Yeah, the background systems do work usually pretty well. If I'm going even lighter, if I'm going pretty light, that's what I end up using. Usually, though, if like really hardcore skills, I know, yeah, the DM player bond definitely. I know tomorrow we're actually going to be looking at a game called Song of Ice and Fire by Green Ronin, which that entire game is just skills. There are no attributes to it, but they handle it a little bit interestingly. But that's also kind of the nature of the game. It's very interesting how they handle it. Does it work entirely? Abso-fucking-lutely not. But they gave it the old college try. Now, one of the core ideas behind styles is your combat pool is whatever your attributes are. For example, Conquering King style. Right here, strength, health, and willpower. Actually, here's where I can scroll all the way down. Right there. And we want to select you. We want to open Notepad document. I said we want, there we go. So let's say I have 3 strength, 4 health, and 2 willpower. My combat pool would be 9. Now, I can split these dice however I feel like. So if I want to do technically 3 actions, I could do 4, 4. I can do a 4, 4, 1. Or maybe I want to say, okay, I want to go really high on the offense, but I also want to protect myself a little bit. So it's kind of like, okay, I'm changing my pool around, I'm changing my dice pool around to get the idea of how I want to do this. And the idea is that you can switch out of certain styles. That's one of the core ideas, is that you can switch out styles. Oh, hey, Conquering King ain't working. I'm going to switch to Arjun's Wandering style. And that's how I'm going to start fighting. And everyone gets Arjun's Wandering. It's literally just strength plus whatever you choose. In this one attribute, it's actually, I should say, it's one attribute of the seeker's choice. And the entire idea is you require double stamina to break holds. That's it. Why? Because everyone is skilled enough to at least know how to fight. Well, different. Very, very different. You don't have to be a good fighter in this game. You just have to understand how to fight. And we have, in total, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 new styles to add in here. So I'm just going to slap those all right here, so don't forget about them. Which are all going to be different. Now, one of the core ideas, what I'm going to be doing is letting you kind of play around with them a little bit and add on, what I'm going to say is, like calling them style points and then like adding modifiers or something to them. I don't know how I want to word it, but pretty much saying, oh, okay, I want to add another attribute to the combat pool. I want to get a little bonus here. I want to do this. Just changing up these already established styles and mechanics to better fit your character and how you want to play. Not anyone else, just you. Because I feel that's important. Do I know how I want to do that yet? Abso-fucking-lutely not. That's half the fun. Okay. I'm feeling I'm going to be very quiet this. The music a little bit. Added some boons and banes from Dying of Dryads. Most of them are kind of like the more universal ones, like beautiful, ambidextrous, hale and hearty, like things that are like very common. Then, actually, wait a second, you didn't get changed over to your correct font, did you? Foolish. Foolishness, Dante. Let me see, actually. Yeah, pretty much these are exactly as you think they are. Pretty simple, pretty easy to understand. I can go into them a little bit deeper once I start getting more parts of the game in order. Then I have this. This is the stories section, pretty much your impromptu game design. What time do I play? What do you mean by that? What time do I play my games? Oh, real life friends? Oh, when I play with my friends? I usually play on Sundays with my friends. We're currently playing another game right now. Another one of mine, actually. We're playing, if I go here. We're playing standard issue science fiction. And more specifically, we are playing a Space Wizard campaign. It barely works for that, but they also said we want to play a Space Wizard campaign, so I'm like, fuck it, why not? So I said, fuck it, we're playing Space Wizards. See, I should be writing session notes. However, I don't trust my players at all. Or accurately, I trust my players. They're just all chaotic and have no sense of right or wrong. If you ever want, for good serial killer stuff, always look at World of Darkness slashers. That's some good stuff there. That's a damn good book in general. Even, World of Darkness, not even withstanding. Like, it's just a good book for that kind of stuff going on. Yeah, you have your 7 steps to understanding, and pretty much it's small stories. That's how I want you to play. Okay. All right. Now let's. We're gonna be working on combat. Now, combat's gonna be a little bit weird. So. Okay. When the time diplomacy has failed. When the those I hold dear. A seeker who combat is a deadly affair for everyone involved. As the seekers are above most mortals, being on par with the lesser divines and even the heroes of Ashoka's world. Yeah, no. Let me see. Last time my players were inadvertently blamed and partially the cause of a massive insurance scam based off of Space Jurassic Park. Because the 3 people who have actively known role playing and stuff like that before left to go talk to another character, leaving the one player who doesn't know these things very well to talk with the, hey, we need you to make a hardcore decision. You can see how well that went. I love may be getting a phone call here soon. Welcome to my phone. Now, if I was a professional streamer and I knew what the hell I was doing with my life, I would like turn this off and make it so people didn't hear it. But me talking to my phone is half the enjoyment. So that's just something we all have to live with. All right. Yeah, that's why I don't trust my players with anything. Those fuckers destroy everything they come across. But I love them for it. Common is deadly affair where everyone involved. The Seekers are above most mortal, being on part of lesser minds and heroes of the show. It's a world. So we'll call it the first beads of sweat. When combat begins formally, all participants. Well, their ADR. All participants roll their ADR. All participants roll their ADR with the number of successes scored being their current initiative value. Their current, I will call it initiative value. See, now if I wanted to be really cool, I would incorporate something with Combat 3, Exalted's initiative system, which I think is oh god. It's always pain. Yeah, that's always pain when you lose like a character that's been going for a while. But like the thing that I like about Exalted's, well, let me temper this sentence for a second. Exalted's combat is interesting. It has some good ideas in it. Unfortunately, here's this is the combat section. Welcome to the combat section. There's a lot of combat section to it. Let me see. Yeah, because you have things like initiative damage and initiative crash, which I think was actually kind of like an interesting idea. So, yeah, one of the ideas behind Exalted Combat is that you want to crash their initiative, which makes them way more vulnerable to attacks. And it had a lot of cool ideas in it. There's just a lot of Exalted Combat, and that's like one of the key reasons why I don't think I can ever really do a good review of Exalted, just because Exalted is that fucking massive. Like, it is so difficult to even comprehend at some points. It is just that thick. You want a high crunch game, Exalted is that. Number of successes scored being their current initiative value. And so we can probably do, yeah, we'll make it 5. That means a lot of people are going to have the same. Or we can just make it their ADR general? No. No, we'll keep it that. Number of successes scored being their current initiative value. In a descending order. In a descending order each. Each fighter will take their turn, choosing to perform actions based on their combat pool. Should 2 or more fighters initiative, then their attribute die value determines who will act. 2 or more fighters have the same initiative, then whoever has the highest ADR, then AGI, then attribute die. Attribute die will determine who acts first. Should all of these be equal, then both fighters will act simultaneously. Which is always a pain in the fucking ass to do, by the way. I have still yet to find a good system that does simultaneous actions well. There just isn't. Okay, so first speed's a sweat. Okay, now we get to do the basic combat thing. So, flying fists, grabbed bodies, takedowns actions. Nope, we want to do that. Heading 2. We'll do actually flying fist and gripped bodies actions. When it is a seeker's turn, they may perform any set of action, any amount of actions, as long as they have dice in their combat pool. The combat pool is calculated from the seeker's current style. If fighter does not have a style, they will choose only a single attribute to represent it. Because that's one of the key ideas. I want everyone to always have something, and if you only have a single attribute, that you're not good. And it's pretty simple ones are going to have 2. Advanced ones are going to have 3. Like the really hardcore ones that are going to cost like 5, which is going to be quite a bit, are going to have 4. So you can potentially be rolling quite a few dice if you are very capable. But that's kind of the point. Like I want you to feel capable because you are one of these guys. Fighter does not have a style. They will choose only a single attribute to represent it. From there, the seeker fighter is able to divide their pool to actually is able to dedicate dice from their pool to commit action, to perform actions and battle the enemy. The current, actually, dice can also be spent for defense. Anytime another fighter were to attack, they would be able to perform a defensive move. We'll call it defensive action, allowing them to mitigate damage or enhance their already bulk, or enhance their abilities. Now, this right here, this is the idea that you aren't really going to be threatened by weapons used by traditional people. Normal people swinging a sword at you, you don't really care. Because the sword's going to come down, you're going to grab it with your fist and snap it in half. Why? Because you're a fucking Superman. Oh no, Joe Schmo is firing a fucking bow at you. You grab the bow, fucking grab the arrow out of midair kind of thing. It doesn't really matter of lesser people. When you're kind of engaging in weapons with higher quality people, that's where things get a little bit hectic. But defense also allows you to do things such as counterattacks, rather than like, all right, I'm going to be betting everything on my defense, like my basic natural defenses. It's, hey, I've dedicated 4 of my dice to making sure I don't get hit during this situation. So I have a defense of 4. I want to make that higher. Oh god, oh fuck, oh god. Who pinged me? I hated that sometimes that everybody goes through no matter how many settings you do. Like, it is vitally important I tell you something. Like, it's really not. Dice can be spent for defense anytime another fighter were to attack, they'd be able to defense back. Get damage with enhance their abilities on the defeat. I keep clicking on that button and I keep not meaning to. Go away. So, our basic actions. Now, this is where things get a little bit complicated. So, let's take a second. We're going to need strikes. Actually, what we can do is we can do something like, do you want to make it... Okay, we'll do light strikes, heavy strike, grab, light strike, heavy strike, grab, shit, we're gonna call it the shift, maneuver, other. I'm gonna make it fairly simple, but it's the idea of heavy strikes, light strikes, grab. The grab, we're gonna have a big thing on grabbing, on grappling in general. Shifting, maneuvers. think of like any other actions that would be appropriate, really. Let's do Exalted combat actions. Let's just do a quick. Explain it to me like I'm 5. What we can do is we can do a gambit. We can have the idea of withering and decisive attacks. Yeah, okay, no, we'll do something like this. Because you're fundamentally going to have more than a few actions. Yeah, actually, we could... We'll actually put a Mystic Strike in here. So the idea of a like strike. The fighter in for a quick and devastating strike against the target. Rolling their combat dice versus probably something like mobility. Because I want to get the idea that this is like the thrust system. Oh, the thrust of the system. What's the central mechanic? Central mechanic is a dice pool system at its core. You'll be rolling d8s trying to score 5 or higher for a success. However, you can actually mitigate and make this go lower for certain cases. So it's pretty much, it's more successes equal better strikes. Unless I want to just dedicate the idea that you're spending... Actually, you know, we can do this. Quick and devastating strike against the target. Rolling their combat dice. We'll call it diff 6. Actually, what did I end up fucking calling it? TN. Actually, we'll do combat dice at a TN of 6. Against their defense. They will deal 1. Actually, how much blood are we looking at here? How much health? HLT strength will, if we determine that our average is going to be 4, so it's going to be 4 plus 4 plus 4, 12. We're going to have 24 health in total. And... probably we're going to be doing... They will deal... Okay, it's going to be Agi plus... Probably Agi plus strength damage. We can just make that the core idea. So the fighter... We can actually let's call that basic at 5. Like the combat, what I want the idea is I want the combat to be kind of a means to an end. Not like the main, like, oh no, you must engage in super hyper combat or else you're a loser. No, I don't want that to be the idea. It's more in the idea of like, yeah, hey, we're trying to, you know, ascend higher because we're cool like that. So these are your core attributes. So I'm trying to think of like, okay, what's goes in for a head. Look successful. Actually, it would be it'll be HLT plus STR, because again, we're dealing with that. Strength is going to be important because guess what? It's fucking strength. Kind of hard to avoid that. Actually, I wanted to avoid Mystic Strikes. Not everyone's going to have those. I'll put that as like a... These are also moves characters have, so... So let's say... Okay, let's say my combat pool is... I'm dedicating 48 for this attack, and my opponent's going to dedicate 3d8. He's feeling confident that I'm not going to roll very high to beat his success. So I'm going to... Oh, wait, Okay, 7736, and he rolled a 412. Alright, I beat him. On pure successes, I scored 3 successes versus his 0 successes. So what happens when you deal... Is this a multiplier? So it'd be agi plus strength times 3. We'll just do the amount of damage, so what does the over successes do? Or we can add it just as a flat bonus. Actually, I know what we can do. Extra... And then we can do... make a second attack, and make a second light strike with over successes. Pretty much the idea is like, oh hey, I scored 3 successes to your 0 successes. One of them is going to be me attacking you, and now I can roll 2d8 again, see if I can't attack you again effectively. Just bam bam real fast, and then we can do or you can spend a success to move to an adjacent zone. Actually, that's actually not a bad idea. And we can restore a blood and stamina for over successes, because we can use over successes to do different things. So heavy strike, it would be actually inflict the stunned condition on the opponent for X. Break a non-magical or non-asset item. restore a blood or stamina. So we can do that for over successes. So if we use this, and that does allow us to do additional things here with different bonuses, so we can add in more things there to allow you, like, hey, if you have over successes for this, so you can do this. Cool. When a fine scores more than one success, actually more than one success for an action. Hello, Java. Success for an action. They gained over successes, allowing them to spend their bonuses on bonus effects or bonus effects. Because I can split this up to multiple things. So I could say, for example, like my 48 here. Let's say I have a total pool of 8d8. I'm going to split it up for 48 for my light strike, because I'm feeling confident on it. I'm going to do a 2d8 heavy strike on the same character. And then I'm going to save my other two for any defense that I need to make. I'm dedicating a lot to this attack, but the idea is, like, I want to fucking bring your ass down. A grab. So the fighter goes for a grab on an opponent. How is muscle mass calculated? I gotta check that real fast. So it's HLT plus strength. So yeah, no, that's actually fine. Fighter goes in for a grab on an opponent. They will roll their combat. They'll roll their combat dice and attempt to beat the target's muscle map. Actually, MMA. Attempt to beat the target's MMA. And is considered to be in a grapple. What's below for a shift? So actually, we don't need shift if we have maneuver. So the fighter spends an amount of their combat dice to move to a different zone. Each zone has different values. Different values for the amount of dice needed to enter it. Needed to enter it safely. If the fighter does not spend that dice, spend the required amount of dice, they will lose 3 blood die. So, like, most things are going to be 1. Like, walking down the hall is going to be 1. Why? That's literally you just having to exert yourself to, like, hike over there. 1 die isn't going to be anything. That's not really the point. It's you kind of having to, like, okay, I want to move. Spend dice. However, one of the key other aspects of it is you're going to get your shit thrown around, too. So someone may grab you and yeet you down the hallway, like or may throw you around. So like kind of getting into those fights are going to be kind of important as well. And if you don't have the dice, you could still move. You're just hurting yourself doing it. Like more complicated terrain, it might cost you like 2. Like really dangerous, like I'm moving through a mire or something on. Like a good example of like moving through something with like 3 difficulty is, hey, we're moving through a fucking swamp right now, but we can't really touch the ground, so we're kind of like jumping on these poles, you know, one at a time through this horrifying swamp. And that's how we're fighting right now, is we're trying to balance on these things. So if you don't have the right amount of dice, you're going to hurt yourself doing it. A little bit more cinematic and Gambit. Fighter dedicate an amount of dice to attempt an action not covered here directly. Directly, or employing a mystic item. Actually, what I should say is item. Fighter uses an item in their possession. Paying the dice cost to use the item successfully. Again, if you're using 8d8, I need to use, like, take a pill or something, make sure I don't, it's just, you pop it, 1 dice. It's not anything, that's not the point. It's just to, like, represent both time as well as your kind of ability to do multiple things at once. You can dedicate everything to a single big hit if you want. If you want to do that, cool, do it. Break their fucking skull in half. I just find at any time, like, oh, I'm living in your walls, haha, Lamau. I'm being this, like, well, then pay fucking rent. Rentoid. Be like me. Item using item in their possession, paying the dice cost, use the item successfully. Now, one of the things is, like, if I'm using a weapon, this just turns into +5 or something. Like, I'm just adding a flat amount of damage. That's all weapons do, add a flat amount of damage. But for reference's sake, your blood is 4, 8, 12, 24. 5 is pretty fucking lethal. Okay, so this would be Gambit, grab. I always like doing things alphabetically, even though I technically shouldn't. Because sometimes alphabetically is not the right option, but this time I'm feeling autistic. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I. There we go. Kind of like a bastardization of Song of Swords system, but it should work in theory. I could be fancy and do something like this. This is rounds. Dun 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 dun. Control Shift 8 against the target, and then we want to do a maneuver. Now, because everything is spread out this way, we can probably add in a nice picture like right here. What that picture will be, probably a bar of man, because I can't escape those. I'm not gay, by the way. There's just a lot of it. There's just a lot of gay men I associate with. Okay. Now we get to see. Now we get to go into the really complicated bit, which is I'm just going to call the grapple. Actually, wait, I'm missing something. No. So, the grapple. So we'll call Arden's retort, the grapple. Perhaps the most devastating thing in the Seekers arsenal is their devastating. Actually, what we forgot to add in something. Actually, I should add in shift, shouldn't I? Here's what I'll do. Put in shift. Shift B. Shifts their fighting style to a different one. They know. Costs the entire combat die pool. Why is that important? Because again, I want you to be able to switch out between your various moves so you can get some cool benefits. Their entire remaining actually can only be used at the start of their turn. Consumes all combat dice for the rest of the round. Seekers Arsenal is perhaps the most is their tight grip and inability to and desire to control their opponent using the art of grappling. When an opponent is grappled, the Seeker can spend both their dice. When an opponent is grappled, the Seeker will be able to expend their stamina Actually, let's see. When the opponent is grappled, the Seeker will be able to expend combat die to manipulate their opponent. Trying to reduce their stamina. Actually, it would be STA down to 0. If successful, the opponent has been defeated by knockout. Defeated by effectively knockout. Actually, by being subdued. I don't know how I want to handle this exactly, but this is the idea so far. So, when in a grapple, the Seeker can perform a series of bonus grapple actions to allow to hinder or subdue their opponent. The risk is that the opponent can equally turn the tide against them, forcing them into a grapple. So it's pretty much both of you are grabbing each other and trying to, well, it ain't pretty. So, what are we actually going to be consulting here? Dwarf Fortress. We're consulting Dwarf Fortress Wrestling. Because this is what we have to work with. So, our basic actions, we're going to have the takedown, we're going to have a throw, chokehold, joint lock, and we could probably just call this a lock. Shake, gouge, disarm. Actually, instead of chokehold, we can call it subdue. So the idea to take down the grappler. Expend rolls their combat dice. Boost their opponent's defense. And tries to bring them down to the ground. If successful, both of them are now on the ground. If successful, both of them are now on the ground. Actually, regardless of success, both of them are on the ground. The winner of whoever scored the most successes let's see, whoever scored the most successes deals 3 times successes and stamina damage to the loser. Throw. Attempts to toss an opponent away. Actually, the grappler tosses an opponent away. This isn't looking. I won't do it. Fuck. Fuck. Oh, Jesus. Hello, Drive-Thru RPG. How are you? We're looking at you today right now. What aren't you doing? What do I need from you? Something isn't working. I need to check something real fast. Good news, can't find it. Bad news, can't fucking find it. Fuck. Needed to double check to make sure something. I consulted less than legal sites. Nothing. Fuck. Okay. I had everything planned out and this isn't working. The ground, regardless of success, both of them are on the ground. Whoever scores the most successes deal 3 times successes and stamina damage to the loser. Tosses the opponent. The grappler, actually the grappler in control. I should say in control. The grappler in control tosses their opponent. Breaking the hold. Subdue. The grappler in control rolls their combat dice. Every success scored will deal 2 stamina. We'll do 2 stamina damage to the other in the lock. And to the grappled character, to the grappled fighter. May seem big, and that's kind of on purpose. So if we check Nirvana's, we'll do that. Will plus, so 4, 8, 16. So that's on average. We're going to have about 16. So you're at score about 8 successes in just purely subduing the enemy. Yep. Box down. I limit the target of the grappled. Baffled by making a check against their muscle man, their MMA. Oh, hello, Big. How are you? Oh, thank you for the follow, by the way. I gotta update that. Basket weavers. You seem cool. Ah, cool. Don't know what that is, but unless it is something I do know. The system is familiar. What is this? This is a game I'm writing. This is, we scroll all the way up. This is Gachimuchi Nirvana Seekers. A game about muscular men wrestling one another. And it is using kind of a bastardized version of Song of Swords. So you might be seeing a little bit of that influence. Currently, I'm doing the grappling system, which is very obviously kind of a big deal if I'm doing gachi. And it's still kind of a fuck. Like, not easy to do. Because there's just, like, I've not encountered a single goddamn game out there that handles grappling well. It just doesn't exist. It makes me feel very sad. Yeah, no, I got really bored. Like, arguably you can say that the entire concept of the game is vaguely Buddhist in a way. It's the entire idea is you guys are Nirvana Seekers. You've removed yourself from the cycle of reincarnation, and you're trying to find Nirvana, and that usually involves punching people to death. Well, not to death. That builds your karma up too fast. I wrote this entire plot in complete boredom while also shit-faced slightly. And I'm also going off a little bit of Buddhist things. Fun fact about Buddhism. Women cannot achieve true nirvana in Buddhism. Because Buddha said, hey, these people are, ideas of... Yeah, exactly. Molding the body is a valid way to seek nirvana. It's... Women cannot find true nirvana because they are objects of desire, effectively. And Buddha's entire thing is get rid of desire. I'm not Buddhist, however, I'm like, okay, I can work with this. And someone was like, make a gachi game. And I'm like, all right, I have this exalted system. People want me to make a gachi game. Why don't I merge the two and create whatever the fuck this is? Here we are. Finding this artwork was not difficult, unfortunately, and my good old-fashioned goddamn search history has been destroyed because of it. So that's something I just gotta deal with. Learning the secrets of how to make combat work is always fun. This is always my most hated part of these games. I wrote too many of them. Okay, shake. The grappler, actually not in control. Shakes violently, attempting to... the grappler in control. They will roll their combat die and each success. Success scored. Let's see. Huge. The grappler in control. Originally, I wanted to base this off of a supplement book called Dungeon Grappling. That's it. However, I could not find that book. I thought I knew where it was, and it just wasn't what I thought where it was supposed to be. So, yeah, that's fun. I'm going off secondhand information and Dwarf Fortress, which is its own problems, as anyone with half a brain can think of. God bless Dwarf Fortress. The grappler in control. They roll their combat die, and each success will deal 2 blood damage. I want to fix the wording of this too, but that's its own issue. Disarm. Control makes a check against the... the grappler in control makes a check against the grappler's MMA. On a success, they will drop any item they are holding, and drop any item holding, or deposit We'll drop any item they are holding. Any over successes. Let's see. Any over successes will. Finger guns. Finger guns will solve my problems. Any successes. Any over successes will. Actually, can be used to restore stamp. What I should do is restore stamina by 1. Pretty much, hey, I've done my thing. I don't really need to worry about it. I have a little bit of breathing room. Or remove an item worth that many successes. So if they have like a little health thing, you can knock it out of their possession with a disarm if you roll over what you need, which is good. We like that. Rebel by making a check against their MMA. Subdue to damage, throw to break it. Takedown's gonna be the hard one. Break. Okay. Blur not in control. Do break out. Tries to break out of the hold. Their combat die. Roll their combat die against grappler in controls. Defense combat die. It's success. Combat die. If successful, they break out of the hold. Break out of the hold. So we'll say paying 10 stamina to do such. On a failure, they still must take the stamina damage. They still must pay the 10 stamina. And then on over successes, we're going to do reduce stamina cost by 2. Actually, we'll call that 3, so 3, 6, 9. So 3 over successes. You're praying fucking. Do we want to make that even? We'll make it even, a nice even number, because we want people to wear down both stamina and that. Alright, and then we have to regain stamina by 1. Immediately put the grappler in control. Immediately put the grappler in control into a new grapple. Actually, no, I don't want to do that. And then we want to do, what would be the last one if we, okay, reversal. Not in control. Grappler in control. In controls, MMA. Oh, sweet baby Christ almighty, my back is not supposed to sound that way. Grappler in controls MMA. If successful, the grappler pays 5 stamina and is now in control. And if they fail, they still pay the 5 stamina. Okay, there we are. My quest to find an actually good system for grappling is still not successful, because fuck me if this This godforsaken world does not like grappling mechanics. I understand why. Mostly because there just isn't a good way of doing them. Okay, now I want to do a real gamer move, and because I am incredibly lazy and I don't actually feel like going through all these, we're going to select everything. Go to add-on, sort paragraph A to Z. It's going to do it for me. Now I have to do that because if you don't do that, fun fact, these will also, your little side ones will also get put into it. You're like, oh, well, obviously this is what you want. Like, no, Google, this isn't what I want, but here we are. Okay. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Cool. Is there any way to fix this? I'm gonna have to make this just better overall. I don't know how I want to do it, but I have to. Okay. We've got all of wrestling down. What else do we need? Alright. Overall, what we need is how weapons factor in. We need lethal versus non-lethal combat. We really need much. I guess actually we're gonna have to put an equipment section in, which will deal with weapons, armor, and like the most important thing here is what I'm gonna call exterior equipment. The shit that you always have, but we don't have to think about too hard. Like, here's your fucking potion. Merry goddamn Christmas. You don't worry about it too much. Someone's pinging me again. Who's pinging me? Who are you? Why are you the way that you are? Nothing. Nothing at all. Okay, so we got equipment to do. Okay, we gotta do non-lethal combat. We'll call it subdual. Extinction, lethality in combat. The Seekers. Naturally strong, but the teachings Arjun. Arjun has an emphasis on less lethal combat, even against foes are particularly evil. When most fist strikes and grappling is considered to be non-lethal. Finishing, considered to be non-lethal. Finishing attack on a target with a reducing blood 0 with a fist, with a strike or grapple. will simply KO the target. However, a seeker, if they so wish, can always elect to make their attack lethal. When the lethal attack reduces a target to 0 blood, they roll a HLT check. If they score HL3 check at RS4, if successful, they will survive, if only barely. If they fail, they have been killed. They have been killed, entering the cycle of reincarnation. Reincarnation again, if they aren't a seeker, devil, or ghast. I need more coffee. Let's see. With an lethal attack, it's 0 blood. HLT check and RS4 successful. They will survive. Barely. When an opponent is downed, a seeker can willingly choose to execute them as well. If they execute as well, the target does not get an option to prevent it. They are simply killed in an extremely violent way. Devils care little for their karma at this point, but seekers will rapidly gain karma for performing such actions. Now, for context's sake, karma is both your morality as well as your experience points. You hit 108 and you do not have an asset to go back down to 108, you become a devil. You pretty much, your character is removed from play as you become a, you become a Kuma from Street Fighter, except even more angry. If it's pretty much like a, hey, you cannot be, you've removed yourself, you're kind of an asshole for doing this. Don't do it. Don't be mean. I forgot a second. Defense actions. What I can do, we can put you down here. If we can put defense action, actually, if we put flying fists and grappled bodies, do we put defense? Actually, we're gonna put defense right here. Iron Wall, Iron Will, defense actions. A fighter. Dedicate their combat dice to defense, allowing them may willingly dedicate their allowing them to defend themselves from attacks from others. Defense die can all. How do I want to word this? Uh, yeah, like, that's one of the ideas behind devils, is that they should feel like, when you encounter a devil, it's like the, oh fuck, like, they're kind of on our level, except they have no morals and they have no compass. They are going to fuck you up, and they are not very good if you are not prepared. Mostly because they are, like, one of the ideas I want to kind of get with devils is that devils are cowardly, and they will pull shit that normal people wouldn't. Mostly drawing weapons when they really shouldn't. Those weapons are really scary in the system because they are always lethal. And they just deal a flat amount of bonus damage to every single attack, which can already be pretty big, and since they're always considered lethal, it's like, well, shit. So yeah, they're the ones who pulled the knife to our, homoerotic fist fight. It's like, no, you asshole, you're not playing this right. Stop that. And devils are the ones who are going to be like having the really weird powers and just doing weird shit because they're bad people. Because they don't really have to obey, karma rules anymore. Fighter may willingly decide to dedicate their combat dice, allowing them to defend the full text. Can be spent. Can be spent. Can be dedicated to block attacks from opposing character. Opposing fighters. They can also be used to negate attacks from, quote, lesser, quote, unquote, beings. Seekers are allowed to negate one success for one defense die from mortals, as well as from mortals. It's actually Seekers and Heroes. From mortals, while greater divines are allowed to negate one success for one defense die from Seekers and Heroes. Simply being able to turn away attacks or negate damage is a valuable commodity. Let's see, for the Seekers. Valuable commodity for the strong when making an opposed check. If the fighter on the defense scores high enough, scores over successes, they may spend their bonuses, their successes. One of three things, and it's going to be restore stamina or blood by 1. Actually, blood or stamina. Stamina by 1, not a lot, but it gives you just a little bit more leeway. Counterattack, dealing one attribute of the combat style and damage. So if your combat style is strength and willpower, you can choose to do strength or willpower and damage. It's literally, oh no, I've been hit, punch. Like, it's just you immediately decking a bitch because you're cool like that and can do that. Let's see, we can also do, restore, counterattack. Yeah, want to counterattack, then we're going to call it we'll go hype up. The fighter increases their initiative div by 1. So it pretty much gives you options to do things. This also, that hype up action, if you are at the very end, if you just roll shit on your initial initiative, that's a weird thing to say, dedicate everything to defense, and if you score a few successes over someone making an attack, you can bump your initiative up higher. You know, it's the, I'm sitting on defense and like, oh ho 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 ho, I'm just so cool. I'm like, oh, I'm just getting started now. You know, as you fucking grab someone by the skull and power bomb them the next turn because you're going first. That's kind of the idea there. It's kind of a catch-up mechanic, allowing people to, if you're early on, you know, if you're like one of the first few people, you probably don't want to dedicate that much to defense because it's not useful to you to do that because everyone can see you're dedicating things to defense. While if you're very last, you might be getting tacked relentlessly, you know, to burn all your attacks so you don't attack. So it's like, okay, I'm able to get a little bit more. Yeah, I'm able to get a little bit more room here, a little bit more action to allow me to do things. So I usually find that with any initiative crashes. That's always my fear. And like, anytime you have a weird initiative system, someone's going to get fucked in it. Every single time. Sex, iron will. Because you are a cool person and you are allowed to do that. Okay, so we've got the grapple. We need to work on equipment now. So actually, let's see. I'm going to put a side note. Weapons. Weapons. Intro. One key way. If it is not a blunt weapon, it will actually battle one key way. It will always be lethal damage. Attack. When a seeker is employing a weapon, things will get and exponentially stronger and more dangerous for them when dealing damage to lesser foes. Now, one good hit can send an innocent person, can send a person, actually can send a mortal back into the cycle of reincarnation. Quickly jacking up the seeker's karma in unexpected or unplanned for ways. Treat weapons as dangerous tools, but not to the seekers, but to those around them. Those around them at risk of their wrath. We do insert table 1 by 1. Because that's one of the core ideas behind becoming a devil is I do not want to, you know, give up this power that I've gained. You know, I don't want to go away now. So it's like, yeah, I guess I'll just become, you know, overly powerful and terrifying at my own right. It's kind of that push and pull. Like, do I really want to be a good guy right now, or do I want to be a bad guy? But also learning when to kill someone is almost as impactful as anything else. What happens when a seeker decides, like, you're a bad person. You have hurt more people. It is in our best interest to kill you. But who takes that risk? Who takes that plunge? Do you make it like, oh, well, I have 99 karma. I don't want to kill that person. So you offload that on somebody else? That's kind of fucked up in its own way. It's kind of that idea of, I'm making this decision. If you want to be really thematic about things, this is the really thematic moment. If we go back up here to where's the assets? Because one of the core concepts of one of the assets, and one of my examples here is the Father's Blade, is if you go over your 108 karma, you become like, I'm going to pull my fucking devil's trigger right now. You can instead sacrifice an item to reset down to your perfect amount, perfectly even now. You don't have to think about it anymore. Fucked up. Now, what you can do is, you kill the bandit king who's being evil and shit, and you're drawing that sword in there. It's like, you know what? That's it. I'm never going to touch this sword again. This is a reminder of that I am leaving this behind. I'm not going to be the person who kills anyone anymore. I've learned who I am. And the person who I want to be is not the person who has to do this. Boom. Character development. Boom. It's in the mechanics. Boom. Thematic. It all works. And you're also looking like your fucking Gachimuchi characters. It's great. Okay, we've got... Okay. So what do we need to do right now? Well, obviously we need equipment. We're going to need... What else do we need? Equipment, we need to fix up styles. That's going to be kind of its own core thing. Equipment, fix up styles. What else do we... Okay, we're actually going to need the enemy section, which we detail each of the various enemies and how to build them. Enemies aren't going to be built like you. They're going to be a lot simpler. You're pretty much just going to have dice to do things with. Some basic core attributes as well. Actually, we can probably do in some unique locations. Effects, such as the dungeon, Shangri-La, and the mortal world. And we're going to have to deal with magic, magical attack, magics and mysticism, and the meditation of all things, which is going to be character advancement, effectively. Which you're going to be paying your karma as you meditate, which I want to emphasize, like, you can meditate in certain places, and that's like one of the inciting factors for the players to do things, is that each story, if you want your characters to like learn about something, hey, have a place or have a story be in a place which is really strong meditation wise. Like it's an ancient temple. Oh, here's like a mountainside that's really calming. Set places, have set pieces that are good for meditation. Meditating in the city isn't that great, kind of meditating, but like meditating on the walls of the city as you kind of erase everything around you. Boom, good, or good. Mwah. Delicious. Also gives you threat for not wanting to really increase your karma too high, because if you increase your karma too high, you can't really get rid of it that easy. Fix up styles, enemy section. We're gonna be dealing with mortal. We'll do mortals. Actually, we'll call his show residents. We're gonna be mortals, heroes, divine beasts, ghasts, devils. I should put in demons as well. Devils are strong, demons are weak. Demons are pretty much corrupted spirits. They're, like, very bad things we don't like. They're divine beast children, and they're scary and we don't like them. Heroes are people who are still in the cycle, who have achieved strength. They can go from any caste. The immortals are mortal. Ghasts are fucked up seekers, or people who cannot enter the cycle of reincarnation become a ghast in the dungeon. So unique locations, the dungeon, mystic place, filled with the undead and nightmares, monsters, and terrible wisdom. You want to find magic artifacts? You're going to the dungeon. Shangri-La. Pretty much the steps to heaven. Steps to heaven that seekers and heroes can attain for just a little bit. You can go to Shangri-La for a few bits. Not very long though. So, can consult divine entities for guidance. Guidance and knowledge. Few artifacts available. And then finally you have the mortal world, which is regular place. Which is nice and regular. Still fucking weird. Magic and mysticism, I'm going to be worrying about that. I should put a side note in the combat section about magic damage, but I'll worry about that later. Styles. I can probably do a lot of styles now because I've got everything set up. Okay. Here's the gamer plan. Alright, gamers. Let's see. So, looking at things here, we got a lot done today. Like, doesn't look like we got a lot done, but there's a lot that was finished. I have to clean this section up pretty hardcore, but once it's clean, I don't have to worry about it. Boons and Banes, these are going to get more once I add in more of the styles. This is just going to be time. Like, all of these are just going to be time, and time takes time, and it is very long, but that's just something you kind of got to deal with. But outside of that, we're looking pretty solid, all things considering. If things go directly according to plan, we can wrap this up on Monday. I can do this over the week. I can do this over the weekend. I can get the basics of the weekend stuff there. We can do this on Monday. And all right, yeah, I think we can really. All right, if I do a Notepad must die, yeah, by virtue of getting grappling done, and it's not right, I still have to go. I have to fix that entire section up a little bit. Probably if I do a Notepad must die on Monday, we can wrap up the entire game, actually. And then we have to move on to fucking Shadowrun. Oh, God, I don't want to go to Shadowrun. I don't want to do Shadowrun. Gonna be painful. Let's see. What is on our current... Yeah, the current schedule is looking a little bit fucky-wucky, if you catch my drifterino there. So, yeah, okay. If we get things done, we'll be able to go on to Shadowrun by next Wednesday. We at least get the... Yeah, no, it's... I'm going to be attempting to make Shadowrun for babies, which is going to be like a kind of a cut down, simplified version of Shadowrun for people who don't play Shadowrun. kind of like what Shadowrun Anarchy should have been. But instead, Shadowrun Anarchy exists because God is dead, and Catalyst games cannot help but fuck up. But that's going to be... everything is there for this game right here. Every single thing is there. It's just an act of doing it. Let's see what else. We're also this weekend... We got two things going on this weekend. We're going to be doing this one. Stigmata, The Stance Kills Fiends, Christos Cyberpunk Demon Killing Adventure, which is, at its core, going to be Ultra Kill meets Tower of God, but we're dealing with God. I'm going to see how lethal I can get a game and see how far I can take that concept. I like this maximize lethality and just make it go fucking insane while still having characters have enough meat to work with it. That is for the game jam. We're going to start on that tomorrow, actually. Yeah, pretty much. It's a Christos Cyberpunk, which is actually a genre of novel. Fun fact, Christos Cyberpunk, didn't know that. Yeah, honestly, I might actually... Actually, not a bad idea there, Pig. I might steal a little bit from JTRPG games in general, which I have my affections for, even though fucking Ryu Kamiya cannot help but make me look like a fucking Epstein appreciator. God damn it. Also, if that name looks familiar, this is part of my bootleg series, which are all bootleg games of other games to literally capitalize off of their names. It's great. Henshin Hero is already done. It was effectively Chroma Squad. Stigmata, The Stance Kills Fiends. I'm doing that deliberately to piss off Chad Walker, because I fucking hate that man. What else? Yeah, after that, after we get done with Shadowrun, which, depending on how things go with Shadowrun, I think if we started on officially next Wednesday, we can probably get it done by late mid-July. That'd be my hope. The hope, anyway. The dream. It'll rarely work out, but we can dream. From there, I will throw out a few more. Throw out, the handful of others for looking. I actually need to get some more games to add to my list here, because I've managed to rip and tear through quite a few of these. For better or for worse, and I think it's pretty okay. The Weekend Warrior projects, these will get done when they get done. This one right here is a fucking nightmare because the game that's based off of doesn't work. So I get to fix that. It's great. But yeah, no, we'll see what we can do when we get to that point, and I have to call upon Notocracy on the Discord. Outside of that, what else are we doing? Well, tomorrow, in addition to the Weekend Warrior project, we are doing a Curious Case, actually. We're doing a Curious Case on 3 franchise games. We're going to be looking at... let me see if I can pull it off. We're going to be looking at... Where are you? I have all these damn folders open. In the quest to become organized, it quickly became unorganized. It's great. We're actually going to be looking at the Ruby game, the Ruby RPG, the unofficial Ruby RPG. This game fascinates me because it's actually pretty decent, but it's being completely hampered by the fact that it's if this Ruby thing wasn't here, this game would actually be pretty good. The other game we're looking at is going to be, where are you? I need to do sci-fi post-pox. We're going to be looking at the Stalker RPG, which I'm actually looking forward to. This is a very weird game by a lot of things. An older one, too. So I'm actually very curious. We're gonna go look through it. Let's see what we can find out about it. Let's see. But yeah, we're also gonna be looking at the Song of Ice and Fire game. I need to find my PDFs for it. They're somewhere. I have them somewhere. I know that for a fact because I had to read that game about 7 times in a row when I was writing Blood, Coin, and Steel. God, Jesus, Blood, Coin, and Steel is about a year and about 2 years old at this point. Jesus, fuck. Oh, God, I feel old. I feel old and broken. But, yep, that is what the goal is. And hopefully things go according to plan. Will they? Probably not. So, thank you all for watching. My name is Notepad Anon. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day. If you feel free to show up tomorrow, I'm going to be there's going to be 2 streams. One's going to be about, I'm aiming for about noon EST. And the other will be later that night. The Curious Case will be the early one though. So don't stop in. We live in an egoist nightmare. Everything will also be uploaded to the YouTube channel at some point. It just takes a lot of time to do that. So, thank you. Godspeed, good luck, and I will catch you all on the flip side. Goodbye.